Welcome to Skin and Soul. I'm Gwenm, a transformational body, sex, and soul coach, and I'm inviting you on a bold, unfiltered journey into the heart of our humanity through the lens of eros. This is where we strip away the shame, dive into the unspoken, and embrace the wild, raw truth of our desires. Together, we'll crack open the taboo, uncover our deepest intimacies, and awaken the pulse of our sexual essence. Because real transformation, it's messy, it's thrilling, and it's oh so delicious. Buckle up, loves. Skin and Soul Beyond the Pale starts in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Hi there, I'm Gwenm. I'm your host of Skin and Soul Beyond the Pale, and I'm here today joined by Flora Petri, who worked for who had worked in corporate law and diplomacy for over a decade, and then turned into embodiment coach, working with leaders and high-achieving, high-performance men who are having more issues in the bedroom than the boardroom. So we're going to have a delicious discussion today. Anybody who wants to write in and ask any questions, please do. But welcome all the way. You are in, are you Germany or Austria?
I'm originally Austrian. I do live in Revelstoke, British Columbia in Canada.
Oh, okay. So we're in the same time zone.
Same time zone, easy.
Okay, easy peasy, yeah. Great. So tell me, I want to dive right in and just ask you, how does it feel to go from the corporate world into embodiment work, into erotic embodiment work?
How does it feel? Well, enlivening, disastrous, unearthing, opening, collapsing, many things, uncertain, lots of uncertainty. Taking such different choices than what I was trained to do. It's still, my mind still comes in at so many moments where it's like, whoa, this is not safe. Like, let's not do this. And it's such a different way of operating, if you will, than what I was trained to do. So how does it feel? Very alive.
Very alive. So what gave you the decision to work with men particularly? So coming from the corporate world, which is very masculine dominated, what led you then to choose to work with men?
It's a two-sided answer. One, just look around in the world, also at the current events. It's so needed, right? This work is so needed. And I dare to say that sexuality that is lived outside of the shadow is a way healthier, more integrated expression. And so often in this corporate career, diplomacy, I entered rooms where there were only men. Only men, I was the only woman. And it's a lot of attention, it's a lot of admiration, but it's fucking uncomfortable. You're the only one so often. And so bringing that whole awareness of how it works, right? How this world functions is one of the reasons, which is very logical. Like I've been there, I understand. And then the other one is deeply spiritual, where in my coaching training, we did a meditation with the spirit of our business, a so-called Deva meditation. And I was sitting there and I was asking the Deva, the spirit of my business, okay, what's up? What am I meant to do here? And the symbology that came through was so powerful. It was a mountain, a black stallion, a sword, and literally the words, "You're a men's sex coach." I'm like, what? Me? You sure? And that's what I'm doing. And the more of it I do, the more sense it makes as this embodiment of rigor and softness, of very brain heavy work, body work, embodiment, and how I am the embodiment of that. So
yeah, and I think there's something that's really needed that comes from the feminine, right? There's a lot of masculine forward masculine led kind of like men's groups and so on, which
Yeah.
are also very needed, right? In raising consciousness, not just for men, for women as well, right? But raising the consciousness on the planet to make it a better place. And then I always, because I also work with men, and I love it because I think it's coming from the feminine that offers something different, right? Like it's the softer perspective. It's just it's not coming from that logical place of, okay, now you need to, it flows more. I don't know how, if you work in that way, but I'm assuming as this divine goddess that how do you work with men?
How do I work with men? Well,
Hmm.
first you gotta be ready, right? And that's something that nobody, myself included, yourself included, no coach in this world, no therapist in this world, no sex goddess in this world can do for them is the readiness. Like really seeing, okay, I want better relationships, I want a better sex life, my career is epic, my sex life sucks, I want more, I am ready. So first of all, they gotta be ready. Second of all, how I work with men is we still bringing a goal. Just it's fun to orient your work towards a pillar, right? Like, why are you talking about this? Why are you telling me about this? What is the orientation? What is the North Star in our work together? I only work in programs, longer term. The shortest possibility is 8 weeks. The longest is a year. Yeah, so really creating a sustainable relationship and sustainable transformation, because none of those things just showed up in adulthood. Yeah, they stem from way back, and there needs to be time and space to go deep, and there's a lot of rewiring necessary, reprogramming, and that's not only for men. Yeah, that's generally speaking how we all conditioned to live our sexuality as an achievement, goal oriented. There's so much undoing that is necessary. And
Yeah.
also, I find the longer term commitment is a keyword, right? Like, I'm ready, I want to do this, I'm showing up. And most of them want to quit. Yeah, let's be honest too, because things get really uncomfortable. And I love that you're saying that in your intro. It's messy. It's
Messy.
messy.
It's ugly how, people think I'm coming in to learn orgasm. This should be, and I mean, it is fun. I mean, I think there's a lot of fun and juiciness to it, but yes, there's commitment. There's
Yes.
commitment to pleasure capacity, to being
Yeah.
able, and I wanted to ask you what you think powerful men want the most, that they are the most afraid to allow themselves.
Ooh, love that. First thing that's coming is vulnerability.
Mm.
And again, from childhood on, it's so conditioned. You do the thing, you receive love. And then as a partner in a law firm, you do the thing, you might even not receive any praise anymore because you're a partner, right? So who's gonna praise you? What was your question again? It was really good. Oh,
So
what
yeah, why? What do you think that most powerful men really want, but but they're not. They don't give themselves
yes.
permission to want.
Yes, that's 100. I'd say in my perception, in my experience, vulnerability, because they always need to be on, at least 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week, 100 hours a week. That's just the job, right? Where they need to be put together. They need to keep it together. They need to be such high performers. And then in their family lives, probably too, maybe they get to pick up the kids, maybe they get to take care of their partner, take them out for dinner, but the
Hmm.
spaces where there's enough sense of safety to actually allow themselves to be like, wow, I am so tired, or I would really love a hug, or the last time I noticed my heartbeat. Like, rather not notice your heartbeat because you might be noticing that it's going like this.
Yeah,
um, yeah, vulnerability.
yeah. Thank you. I would agree. I think there's like a vulnerability, and we always that safety is a key, right? I
Yeah.
think so many particularly men with that are in high achieving roles are just on this trajectory of having to perform all the time
Yes.
instead of coming back into, it's like, when you ask the question, like, how are you feeling? Well, I think, it's the thought that comes first, because sitting in the body can be such a strange sensation and uncomfortable, right? To feel like, oh, my heart is beating super fast. So, where do you think that men's performance, how would I put this? Where do you think that men's performance kind of cuts out intimacy or avoids intimacy?
I love that question. So where the performance kind of
Yeah,
cuts,
just like
yeah,
it's like cut off from, yeah.
yeah. Um, well, again, like their entire lives is organized around achievements, around closing the deal, around numbers, around, you know, being elected the top firm, whatever it is.
Mm.
Um, it's so hardwired around achievement. So, for example, when your partner, because as female embodied beings, we need presence, right? In order to open, we need safety and presence. And when someone's head is constantly with their phone, with their numbers, with their deals, there is huge separation, right? And the feminine, especially the physical body, closes, right?
Mm.
So the performance is not working anymore. The, whatever it is, whatever the go-to steps would be in intimacy don't work anymore because the other body is shut down, or the own body is shut down, right? Erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation. Um, Perhaps there has not even been any intimacy in a long time. Maybe there's no partnership. It's
Or even just being, yeah, like you said, like being present with your partner, where, I think people take for granted of just being in the act does not make you present.
totally,
Just and doesn't make you connected to the other person, your partner, doesn't make it you connected to yourself, right? Men tend
yes,
to just go right away towards the release. They're like, that's I'm heading towards the mission, but they're not necessarily embodied in the mission. Which brings me to like leadership, how we are so needing intimacy in leadership, not just in, right? Because looking around what's going on, I think there's so, I mean, I go back, and I'm not going to go into politics or whatever, but like, just looking at where the world is today, and how there is this, we've been cut off from like the masculine has been cut off from its intimacy, because I think if you're truly intimate with yourself and with the feminine, or just humanity, when you're in life, when you're intimate with yourself, then empathy
yes.
is a natural consequence of, presence. I'm just gonna, any thoughts on that?
I 100% agree. Like if someone feels themselves, atrocities of the level that are coming to light right now would not be possible. And empathy is such a keyword there, right? Like how would that feel to me? How would that feel to my child, to my niece, my neighbor's daughter? Um, and that gives me goosebumps right now. I love that we're meeting at this time in time. It's shit's going open.
Which is great, because I think the pus is coming to the surface. It's like,
Yeah.
we've been talking about it for a long time, and now it's there. It's there to be dealt with. And how I think we deal with it at this time is so important. And it's not about bashing men. I don't think, it's about raising the quotient of the planet. It's the raising the quotient of consciousness. And I don't know how you feel, but I was watching your work, and I was like, oh yes, this sense of presence, this sense of like bringing people back into their bodies, back into their embodiment. So, um, what do you think men generally misread about, um, I'm just going to say misread about their own desire, and miss the cues of what's of intuition and
Mm.
chemistry? I know that's a hard question. I think that's a twofold question, but like where do you think that men, yeah, misread their own desires?
I love that question. That's beautiful. Where men misread their own desires. I dare to say there's a huge societal problem, right? It's a collective misunderstanding of how intimacy, sexuality, connection, presence works. Porn industry, again, performance, like you, and again from childhood, like you're getting praise if you show up with good grades. Baby, you get praise if you, I don't know, make a sound or put a thing into the right shape. It's like from so early on, it's about the doing. And yeah, just like,
And unnatural doings, right? It's like perform. It's
yes, exactly.
because you mentioned porn, and I think porn, most people don't realize like this is a movie, people. Like it's a movie,
Yeah,
it's unrealistic, or they're on like super drugs, right? Like it's not, it's glossed over and goes over whatever, however many days they're shooting or whatever it is, right? With like props,
yeah.
right? And
And it
and
totally feeds into that goal orientation, and like faster, harder, not even longer probably, but just with this end goal of ejaculation, maybe a female orgasm, but and just acknowledging how different the female anatomy works than the male anatomy, how the way into female pleasure, especially in Taoism and most tantric traditions, it's through the breasts. Yeah, so if someone darts for a pussy right away, good luck with that. Might work, probably not. And really this misinformation, like I heard you say misattunement or misalignment.
yeah, like
Um,
are they misaligned in terms of like their connection with their partners, with their, with the feminine?
yeah, lack of education, like really from the beginning. And I mean, I don't know about you, and I'm curious to hear maybe, but sex ed in Austria in high school sucked. It was literally like, just this is the penis, this is the anatomy, this is a vagina, this is the anatomy. Even, wrong drawings,
Wrong terminology,
anatomically
right? Like,
not correct. No one taught me about pleasure. Like, a weird talk with my dad on a chairlift about condoms and contraception. So I believe that no one or hardly anyone ever taught anyone how this whole thing works really, and what the goal is in it. It's not even orgasm. Orgasms are awesome, don't get me wrong, but how can we open ourselves to be pleasure, yeah, to allow sensation, and that might come with tears, that might come with pain for everybody involved. I got all fired up here. I'm like,
yeah, no, it's great.
teach
It's
people about pleasure.
yes, because we don't, and I, there's we don't, we're never taught, and I think boys in particular as well. It's kind of like, hey, like this is what you do. Like there's like an expectation, but there's no education. Not that women, I mean, I know I didn't get an sex education at school, that was for sure, right? I mean, I think I had a teacher that basically said, go speak amongst yourselves, which is never a good idea. And it was probably about grade 9. So, learning learning the instrument of your body is never encouraged unless you have like, super cool, great parents that go there. But boys in particular kind of are just taught, instead of being taught their instrument and also taught the instrument, so that there's like a comprehensive understanding that it's just not sex for procreation. It's not just sex
Yes.
for release, or like for coming, right? For orgasm, when there's so much more to be explored, and to play with. Like, I don't know. I'm such a an advocate for starting to teach children very young to be advocates for their own body, to do exploration, to understand, to learn boundaries, and to start, yeah, both boys and girls, right, on like a comprehensive sex education. Like I think when I went to school, it was still a vagina, right? Like vulva was not a word. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but it wasn't the common word used. So yeah,
And I
so
also want to throw in there that children know, right? Like children know how to experience pleasure, and they will hum pillows and they will touch their genitals. And then how do, as I heard you say, like how do we create a sense of safety and boundaries that this is maybe something to be experienced in your bedroom and with your friends, and you need to ask if they're okay with it. And um
yes, and age appropriate. I want to say that since we're
yeah.
talking about children and age appropriate. So what do you think? Okay, so I want to just go veer back to men in
Mhm.
leadership and men that are in high achieving and really purpose driven. What do you think surprises men the most, like high performance men the most when it drops, when their performance finally drops? What do you think happens when the masks come off?
Mm, that there is permission to go slower.
Mm,
There is permission to take time, and a goallessness, if you wish. Like really, what happens if you literally, just set a timer for 10 minutes, close your eyes, stroke your own hands, stroke your partner's hands, and really this permission to slow down. And I think that's one of the biggest epiphanies, because there's always the next thing, there's always the running. And then it's like, oh wow, like I am creating that permission field, that allowance to not do. And notice how when you breathe, how that moves your body. Like so many of those men I work with, they don't even remember the last time they took a deep breath. Like
yeah.
they breathe up to here, you know?
Think from here up, not stopping. I can imagine that a lot of men, and my experience is that it's scary. It is,
Yeah.
especially they're like so living from here and driving that the moment of living in the body gets, um, I'm going to say it can charge a lot, right? To start feeling into and then it's how long can you stay with it? Can you sit with it and not do something about it? Don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Beautiful experience. So, how do you think that men's bodies show distress before they express it? So, how do you think that men, how it shows up in men, and often I'm going to say it's probably unconscious. How do you think it shows up before men ever can say it out loud in the
Mm-hmm.
body?
I already mentioned the heart, right? I don't know the numbers from the top of my head, but cardiovascular issues with male identified folks are way higher than with female identified folks. And cortisol spiking, sleeplessness, tight jaw, and maybe, and again, like erections become a problem, right? There's another thing that needs to be, is added to the need to be fixed list. So in the physiology, tight shoulders, hunched over, like zero connection to the breath, shallowness of breath, zero connection to pelvic floor. Yeah.
Yeah, and how about in their lives? Like I think one of the things that I have found is if you're cut off from here, um, in relation to life, like how do you think it shows up with men in life? Like so, they're performing in their lives, but are they feeling their lives?
Mm-hmm. And like again, the performance, right? The disconnect,
Mm-hmm.
the you have everything on paper. You got the career you built. You might even have a family. You might have children. You have the house, the car, the articles being published, the interviews, the top rankings. So on the outside, you have everything. And then you can't sleep at night. You know, you wake up, the 3 a.m. wake up. it's stress responses, right? It's so in their lives, how it shows up is really disconnection and not feeling anymore, and just being kind of okay with being a machine, motoring through it,
Yeah.
grinding through it, like the grind, you know, and just this like, oh, this is just what it is. I'm like, no, 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 no. There's way more than that. And eventually, maybe, and the body gets quiet at some point, right? If it's not being heard for decades, it shuts down. It gets so quiet. And that might be when the hard things are showing up, or your digestion is weird, or the body, it's so subtle and so loud at the same time. And it might, at some point, it might shut down completely. And there's so many different ways of how it shows up in life, right? Disconnect with partner, going through the motions, like maybe trying to do the same, doing the right things, and nothing is working.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, and divorce, right?
Yeah, totally. Separation. Um, so many ways of it showing up. Another one I observed more on private level is really children rejecting their fathers. Like, I'm not listening to you, you're not here, I can't feel you.
Yeah.
Also being rebelled against in a work environment, similar to that, to children, right? Where like, I don't feel your presence, why would I listen to you? I don't want to be like you. And I think that's a huge change I still observed in my corporate career, where younger associates are just like, I don't want to live this life. This is not a life to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't teach our, our boys to feel, right? Like you said
Yeah.
earlier, it's all about doing an achievement and getting the top A's or being the top of your sports, or and it's all about what you attain rather than how you're feeling. And still today it's like, oh, if a man cries, there's like this sense of, oh, that's weakness. I think for a lot of men, crying is weakness, or feeling heartache or sadness or shame, all of these things that pop up that get suppressed. And like you said, I mean, to me, I think there's such a high cost to shutting it all down, where it gets, it's that numbness, that silence that gets so loud, right? It's such a loud silence, because it can cause, yeah, absolutely, physical, like heart attacks, uh, all of the physical symptoms. But it's also like, how are you living your life? Like, where's the meat for those men that have like everything, that look around and say, I have my kids, I have my wife, or my partner, I have my car, and my career path, but I'm still not happy.
Exactly.
So so if you gave like just a piece of wisdom, like a piece of wisdom of, what does coming into the body mean for the masculine?
Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful question. And again, I'm in a feminine body, so from looking around and from the work I'm doing, it really, it is, again, it's like taking this one deep breath,
Mm.
taking this one deep breath, and maybe the first one is still here, maybe here. Take a few deep breaths, and it is maybe holding your genitals without needing to do anything, and really just like, oh, I actually have a body too. I have a body too. And what I do love about men-led men's group, there's often an element of physicality, of like wrestling or running or whatever it is, and just like being met in physicality. And some of the tools I teach are very much in that realm of, okay, I'm breathing, I'm feeling my feet on the earth, and then I'm pulling my entire awareness into my body, and I'm actually following my impulse, what wants to be expressed. And when that is present and powerful and embodied, it's leadership, right? It's not leadership from here. It's leadership that can be trusted because it's intrinsic. It comes from the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, it's connected to heart and like that deeper knowing that from, heart. I always say like the sexual energy, heart and consciousness, right? When those are in unity, then you have a conscious being who's awake, who's standing, that you can trust. Whereas if it's just cut off from here, it's not carrying, I'm going to say, the sense of responsibility of making sure that, I would say, not taking care of others, but like there's a consciousness around action,
Yes,
which
I love
comes
that.
with
With that.
leadership. Yeah. So how do you think, because I always say that like sexuality to me is that life force. So how do you think that sexuality fuels, and this is probably just building on the last question, but like how do you think it fuels leadership?
Mhm. It is, it's life force energy, it's creative energy.
Mm,
Literally, with our sexual centers, we can create life if we choose to do so.
mm,
And the more we are tapped into our creative life force energy, which is our sexual energy, the more we can create.
mm,
And the more embodied and healthy and present our leadership can be. And those are two different ways of leadership, right? The one is the heady one, the cutting the body off, the do, go, 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 go. And I do say that structure, goals are very important. Yeah, we love those. And also, can we fill up the structure with the aliveness, with that life force energy, allowing the creative energy to flow?
mm.
And leaders who have mastered this skill, this flow, this connection of, oh, channeling my life force energy, channeling my eros, or whatever you want to call it, into my creative expression. Because leading a business is creative, right? Leading people is creative. Climbing mountains is creative. um, and bringing in that playful expression of the erotic energy, of the life force energy, of creation itself.
I love that. Yeah, I agree. I think, yeah, I think that's gorgeous. I think there's something in that where you're in life
Yeah,
rather than and experiencing life rather than just doing life.
I love that.
Yeah. So for you personally, how do you think your relationship with working, like in working with men, has changed in how you perceive men, how you relate to men?
A lot more empathy. I conducted a series of interviews this fall with former colleagues from law, and really with this curiosity around, because I had the hypothesis, you built your career on the cost of your intimate lives. Is it true? 100% of the 83 men I interviewed said yes. And I was like, holy shit. And I had a feeling, and just looking around, I'm like, yeah, I saw you running around and doing the thing, and really having confirmation of, it is true that that's the cost, right? That's such a common belief that you can only be successful if you sacrifice your relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and it is very much a true myth. It is very real. And I lost track of your original question. I just
No,
remember. Really
that
good.
was it. It was like, yeah, why, where, in talking about the cost of intimacy and leadership, um, and in working with the men that you work, I think what have you noticed in their revelation around bringing in intimacy into their life?
I didn't quite catch your question.
Oh, so for men, what do you think, like, so in working with men, have you noticed that in bringing in more intimacy into their leadership, like what has been the consequence of that?
They have more fun.
Mm-hmm.
There's more lightness to it all. And again, it's like almost permission feel that like a relaxation, um, a deeper, which is again, it's highly spiritual, a deeper knowing that they are playing a role ultimately.
Mm.
And it might as well be fully them and not just a persona or not just a performance. And bringing in this deep understanding of this is what it feels like if I'm expressing my purpose, and this is what it feels like when I'm playing a performance.
Yeah. Do you find
And
for yourself? Sorry, I'm curious because you had been in the corporate world, in corporate law and so on. So do you find for yourself that you are carrying a lot of masks and what those masks, and I don't, you can answer that first question. I'm just making the assumption that you did have masks because I think we all carry them, but what it feels like when you start to remove them.
100%, yeah. I shut down my feminine a lot, right? And really with this performance piece of showing up in work, always the same 60 to 100 hours a week. Um, and and I mentioned it in the beginning already, like it's so uncomfortable when tears start to flow. I didn't cry in forever. And again, I I really still want to emphasize also for men that element of safety, right? Creating a sense of safety, building a sense of safety inside of them, so it's actually possible for to truly be you. Um, Maybe removing some of the masks. Maybe that looks like taking a sabbatical. Maybe that looks like choosing a totally different field of law. Maybe that looks like starting to teach at university. Like it usually comes with quite significant life changes. Some of my clients broke up with their partners. Some of them recommitted. It has very different expressions too. And for my own masks, I'm still undoing
I
them. And
know there's so many to take off. Like I mean, yeah, it's a lifetime pursuit, I think, to get rid
yes,
of it,
and coming back to that point of safety, like what's been so crucial to me is really learning and reminding myself over and over again that ultimately I'm safe. Like
mm,
I am safe no matter what. Can
mm,
I be safe without that specific income that my entire life is built around? Can I be safe without my partner? Can I be safe without that position, without the prestige? Um, yeah, those are
big questions. Those
big
are, you
questions,
know, I think anybody listening might be like, "Oh my God, what do you mean not
right?
have my income? Oh my God, what do you mean?" You know, it's not to say that but it's like to be able to ask the question to yourself, like, "Oh, am I really, is my worth, do I no longer have worth because I don't have income, because my partner and I are not together, right?" It's like
Yeah.
all of those pieces come to light. And sometimes they're very hard
Yes.
questions. Um, and I think it's the opening door to aliveness. It doesn't mean your whole life is going to crumble. It can, but it doesn't have to, right? Like
No.
there's so many pathways, but by not going there, things tend to crumble. So, um, oh, here's a good one. Okay, so what kind of touch or presence do men respond to before they even trust the words?
I work mainly virtually.
Yeah.
And again, the gateway, the portal is the breath.
Mm,
And really opening this permission field was telling someone you're allowed to sit back in your chair. Like
mm,
you're allowed to not hold for a moment because they're holding all the time. Yeah, again, there's this expectation for them to hold it together all the time, hold together their family, provide, hold together, like hold. And what happens if you actually allow yourself to be held just for a split second? What happens when you feel how your inhale is caressing the hairs of your nostrils? can you feel your breath tickling your throat? And another one I love, it was actually introduced to me by Kate Northrup, is the saber-toothed tiger. And it's pretty much closing your eyes and letting one hand be the receiving hand and the other the giving hand.
Mm.
And besides our lips and our genitals, our fingertips have the most nerve endings, right? And feeling how one hand is receiving the touch, how the other hand is giving it. And then dropping your entire mind into both hands and feeling those two hands.
Mm.
And then noticing how you're breathing. Maybe you're holding your breath, moving your jaw from side to side. Stick out your tongue.
I'm watching you and partially doing it. I'm like, yeah, that feels good.
Yeah.
Right?
And what this does is, again, we're so conditioned to scan for danger at all times. Yeah, from primordial times, saber-toothed tiger, where is the saber-toothed tiger? Where is the next partner that wants my position? Where is my partner trying to tell me to get out the garbage, or that my orgasm was, or there's always danger. And by doing this, the focus drops into the body.
Yeah.
There's no space in the brain to be thinking about any dangers. Because if you're doing that, you must feel safe enough for no danger to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm.
So very,
I'm
very,
gonna be sitting here doing this all day during.
yeah, and it's tiny, right? And I also hold space for couples, personal experiences, private exquisite experiences.
Mm.
And those things are tiny. And especially if couples have been together for a long time, they have their routine. Maybe this is what gets them off. This is maybe they have 2 minutes before picking up the kids. And just is like, oh, wow. Wow.
Right? Take a minute.
Right.
I think that routine is the killer of intimacy, right? Like it just when you're on automatic pilot and I'm like kiss the I can't remember what it was. I was just I've been reading a book on grief, and it was the wife had said to her husband like the one thing that you have to promise me if we get married is that you have to kiss me every day. And
Love
not
it.
just kiss me like a peck. You have to kiss me. And I think that's like, they say, people, couples who kiss more
Yeah.
frequently and really with presence and intention stay together.
I love that.
Yeah, there's something about connecting in that way and that more primal. It's like take the time, to go there, to take a moment. Even if it's 2 minutes, then show up in full
Yes.
presence.
And I still want to jump back to that. Like, so often there might be no sensation, right? You might be touching your hands, like, I don't feel anything. I'm like, great. Then you feel that you don't feel anything.
Mhm.
And it might be a very frustrating practice over days, weeks, months. Where it's like, I still don't feel anything. Like, keep going. And rebuilding, rewiring takes time.
Mhm.
Yeah, as we say, this work is not a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm like, listen, you want 1,001 tools? They are available in every corner, anywhere you want to go. But if you want to do the work, doing the work is it's a process. It's a
Yeah,
journey,
yeah,
right? It took you this long to get here, and now whatever the place is, whether it's I want more expansion, or I want to move out of numbness, or I want it's a process. So let me just I'm going to ask you my famous 10 questions. I say they're famous, they're so not famous.
they are famous
They
now.
are, they are now because I based them on James Lipton's The Actors Studio. And actually somebody brought up a great question today, which might make it 11 questions. I don't know, which is, around, I won't go there right now, but let's see. So number one is what's one truth your body has always known that your mind took years to catch up to?
Having fun is allowed.
Ooh, I love that. Thank you. What is the most intimate moment that you have ever had that had nothing to do with sex?
Perhaps spending time with my best friend. Like
Mm.
our relationship is so close, and there are many little moments of deep intimacy, and that might be bringing over soup or bringing over tea or really looking each other into the eye. I can't really pinpoint it down to one moment. I will think about that question though.
Okay, that's beautiful though. Um, let's see, if you could be remembered for one sensation that you gave someone, what would it be?
Life force.
Mm. If pleasure were a language, what would your first word be?
Amour.
Amour,
Mm.
love. If your erotic life had a title, like a novel or a film, what would it be called?
I'm writing my autobiography. It's called Many Wild Ways.
Ooh,
Yeah.
many wild ways. Thank you. What's one thing that you've never said out loud, but you wish someone would ask you about?
What makes you feel invited?
What makes you feel invited? Hmm. What makes you feel invited?
Are you asking me right now?
Yeah, I'm asking you. I'm like, what makes you feel invited?
You do right now, like you in this entire conversation and the process leading up to me. You made me feel very invited, and it's literally like things like be at this place at 7 p.m. Wear this thing,
Mm,
or let's go skiing. I'll pick you up at 8 a.m. Like be so specific and invite me.
mm. Thank you.
Mm.
So, what is one thing that you've never, oh, I just said that. What's part of your erotic self that you are still afraid to bring to light?
My power.
Mm. And what does power look like to you?
It's loud, it's big, but it can also be very subtle. It's not chasing, it's really being fully present and allowing things, allowing life to come to me. And I'm still very much undoing some deep birth trauma and how that wired into me getting after things. And the career suited me very well because I was getting after things.
Yeah.
And now really this, again, I am safe. Life is happening for me. Life is being presented to me.
Mm. Thank you. Let's see, what dies in you when you pretend? That's the first part of the question.
My inner child, my trust, my innocence.
Mm. So, what comes alive in you when you don't?
The erotic oracle.
Mm. Can you explain?
It is again this deep inner knowing that I'm taken care of, that I have a thing to say. I'm here in this world to contribute and to be present with a huge transformation. And I noticed my spine just being more upright, right? With this like, I'm here, I'm here. And it might have taken decades, but I'm here. So that really comes to that aliveness comes to life, and that like knowing I'm on the right way.
Thank you.
A pleasure.
So, I want you to finish this sentence. When I leave this life, I want my skin to remember.
Silk and licks and ocean.
Silk, licks, and ocean. Oh,
Warm.
that's beautiful. I love that. This is delicious. Silk, licks, and ocean. Yes.
Maybe some letter too. Throw in some letter just for fun.
And finally, if the soul has a scent, what does yours smell like today?
lemon.
Very nice. Beautiful.
Like a beautiful lemon from Cape Town or Sicily, like one of those really big, juicy. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
have some here actually. They have them in California in the desert.
Yes.
I can't even remember what they're called right now. It's terrible. But they're nice
Yeah.
and big. But yes, Sicily sounds good. So very
Juicy.
refreshing. Very juicy, very
Yeah.
refreshing. Okay. So before we end today, I just want to make sure that people know how to contact you. So it's florapetri.com for anyone who's curious about your work. Is there any little bit of wisdom that you want to impart before we go?
Yeah, really take a deep breath and touch your testicles.
I will. Thank you.
You should especially. And yeah, like I feel so honored by your invitation and by everyone who chooses to go down this road. And I recently had a 63-year-old engineer as a client who graduated, as he called it, by saying, "I'm having the best sex of my life."
Right.
And I want that for everybody. I want everybody to have the best sex of their lives.
Yeah, that's the other, I bet before we go, like, well, that's the other myth, right? That when you're, I don't know, the prime of your life is whatever your 20s, your 30s, whatever it is, right? Which is bullshit. It's just like, it's, my sister, dare I say, she might kill me for saying this, but she's having like the best time of her life, right? She's with her partner. They're in love. Like I hate how she's going to be like, don't talk about my sex life, but like, they have a good sex life. And I'm just saying that for people that are, 60 and over and 70, that there is a richness to claiming sex in the body and that it's there to claim. So yes, thank you for like being part of the engine that's making men come alive into consciousness and more pleasure.
I am excited about ripening. And people can also follow me on the socials. It's the Flora Petri. And next Friday, so today in 1 week, I am officially launching my YouTube channel.
Woo!
That might be interesting. Yes. And
beautiful.
that
And where
will
is
be,
that? So just under Flora Petri?
It's Eros Mastery International. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
My pleasure. Yeah.
So I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. I hope that you got some pearls of wisdom in there. And if you want to know anything more about me, I'm at gwenmcarsley.com. You can also email me at info@luvology.com. I am also a body, sex, and soul coach. And I just thank you so much for being here today. And everyone else, have a great week. Thank you for listening to Skin and Soul with me, Gwenm. Join me Fridays at 10 a.m. PST on Transformation Talk Radio. Catch the podcast anytime on your favorite platforms. You can follow me on Instagram @Luvology. Ready to take the next step? Book a compatibility call with me at gwenmcarsley.com.